Everyone. On this video, we are going to be talking about the humanistic approach to understanding human behaviors and mental processes. So this approach arose in around the 1950s and really accelerated quickly because it has just this overall positive feel-good message. So it started by Abraham Maslow, who is going to be most well known for his hierarchy of needs, where he very overwhelmingly states that we are all reaching for this concept of self-actualization, where we are becoming the best version of ourselves. But in order to do so, we need to be able to have a lot of underlying needs met, anywhere from being able to know that I'm safe and secure to I have people that like me and respect me for who I am. So the other major founder here is Carl Rogers. You can see a common quote from him here. As we mentioned very often, the AP, for those of you in my AP class, they might bring up a quote and expect you to identify that quote with that person. And again, we'll spend a lot more time talking about these people and their contributions as we get deeper into the course. But as you're looking at that quote, what you're going to see is he's about how can we build relationships and help a person grow. And the common theme between both of these guys is we are all striving to become the best possible version of ourselves. We are all striving for growth. And so the underlying message of the humanistic approach is so overwhelmingly positive that it continues to draw appeal in that way. Its core understanding ideas are every human is good. We are innately good, and we are striving to be the best version of ourselves. And so as we start to look at our bottom line, that all behaviors and mental processes occur because of our goals of we have defined what that looks like for us to be the best version of ourselves. And that is different. They're not going to define that there's one path that's best for everyone. They will say you innately know what your path is. So if you have already decided that you're going to spend your life making art, then that's great. You are going to be fulfilled if you follow that path. If you, on my side, have focused on the educational side, I'm always striving to become a better teacher than I was the day before or the year before. And so that's my personal growth. And so for some people, they might agree that yes, that would be fulfilling. And other people look at high school teachers and say, I would never want to do that. And that's okay too. What matters is we've all defined what that looks like for us, and we're all striving for that best version of ourselves. Because when we are reaching our highest potential at our absolute best, that's when happiness finds us. That's when we are fulfilled and we reach a whole different level of living life and more completely and more fully. And that's the goal here for the humanist approaches. So as we start to explore that bottom line a bit, everything we're doing is us striving to essentially climb that pyramid to try to get ourselves at a higher level where we are closer to fulfilling our greatest potential, and we are continuing to strive for our growth. So the question always comes up, well, what about bad people? What about those people that show up and you can just tell that's not the best version of themselves? And they are making a series of choices that are continuing to harm other people or harm themselves, and they are just clearly not following a path of growth. And that's where we go back to Carl Rogers' quote here. There are times where you have that vision, you know what you want to be and what your goals are and how to achieve them. But sometimes life throws obstacles in your way. And some people are really good at overcoming those obstacles. Some people are not. And there are skills involved. And there's a whole aspect of humanistic psychology that focuses on resilience and how can we overcome these obstacles and these barriers to our success. And sometimes there's more barriers on certain paths or even for certain individuals than there are for others. And so one of the reasons why we might explain people that are not fulfilling or not visibly on that growth path could be that they've tried and something keeps blocking them. And you can hit a point where you get blocked enough that it makes it hard to continue to try to move forward. And so that's how this approach would explain the negative side. Not that there's any bad people. Everyone is innately good. Everyone's reaching for that next step of being the better person, of reaching their highest potential. But some people have struggled a little bit more to get there. And so that's where, when you get into like the therapeutic side, they're much more going to act as a coach, trying to build that relationship, trying to offer that support, and trying to help guide you to realize what are these obstacles and how can you overcome them to be able to get back on that path towards growth and self-fulfillment. Humanistic approach is one of those approaches that is fading, I guess, a little bit. There's another up and coming field of psychology called positive psychology that has a lot of its foundations based in the humanist way of thinking, trying to teach resiliency skills, trying to help people become more happy and more fulfilled in their life. And while the humanistic approach is a little bit less strong in the scientific testing, it's much more theoretical, whereas positive psychology is kind of up and coming with how can we have a lot of these same goals, but really use this in a more scientifically valid way. And so we are seeing there's a lot of similarities between these two, but you will be hearing positive psychology quite a bit as we explore this also. And so I wanted to connect that a little bit to some of the foundational ideas here. So it is still one of our core approaches. It is still one of the ways we need to be able to think about and explain behaviors and mental processes. And so once again, I bring you your bear. So according to the humanistic approach, why is this guy wrestling a grizzly bear? And so I'm going to ask you, just like I have for every other video, please go ahead and pause this video, think about your answer, commit to an answer, and then hit play again. We'll talk about some of the common trends that we see in your responses. So you should have an answer about the humanistic approach. And one thing to double check yourself right off the bat, is there either a reason if this is not a good motive? Why not? What has happened that has blocked him from his good motives? Or did you find a path where he is actually becoming a better, more fulfilled person through this process of wrestling a bear? So a lot of answers might talk about how this guy has always had a dream of becoming a professional wrestler. And as he's trying to work his way up through into becoming a pro wrestler in the WWE, he has gone through all of the steps. He wrestled in high school and became a superstar there. But as he moved beyond high school, there's less of a formal way to practice. And so he's decided, you know what, if he can go and wrestle against a bear that's as strong or stronger than any pro wrestler he could ever face. So if he can hold up against that, that's going to mean he is equipped and he is ready to go achieve those final goals. So that's just one take on it. No matter what your answer, you should end up feeling good about this person in whatever path they're on is now moving better and more successfully and more fulfilled than they were before because of these behaviors and mental processes that we're seeing them go through. As always, if you're not sure about your answer, if you would like to double check that, or if you're having any points of confusion about this approach, please reach out to me. I want to make sure that we understand all of these approaches as thoroughly as we can, and I will see you in our next video.